And now to discuss this more, we are joined by foreign policy analyst Bolu Michael-Biyi. Mr. Michael-Biyi, many thanks for joining us. I mean, what are the potential political consequences for the Trump administration, given the backlash from its own base over the handling of Epstein's related files?
All right, thank you so much for having me. And I think there's going to be a level of a loss of trust, from Trump supporters, the MAGA caucus, the MAGA base, because they're going to feel let down, especially since President Trump promised earlier full disclosure of the Epstein case. And we can also see signs of internal division. We can see a backlash, it shows crack within the MAGA caucus. This could affect the Republican Party and the unity of, the Trump supporters ahead of elections. And we can also see the pressure from media as well. The issue is giving the media something to chew on, something to write about. Media outlets, they're having more room to question President Trump's transparency and leadership. And also the opposition, that is Democrats and independents, might take the case, might use the case, to their advantage. They might take the backlash to challenge Trump's image or of accountability, of transparency, and if they are able to solve his image, it might trickle down to the Republican Party and affect the party in future elections.
I mean, it makes you wonder about when it comes to transparency and most importantly, accountability, especially with an individual like President Donald Trump. But how might the Justice Department's decision to release only, quote, credible information impact public trust in the government itself, the government transparency and accountability? It's one thing when it comes to the president, the individual, Donald Trump, but his government as a whole, how would it affect public trust?
Okay, yeah. You see, some people may accept it. Some people may feel that the government is hiding the full truth. They might also doubt the process. People might begin to question what does credible mean? How is credible defined? What's the threshold for credibility? Whether they'll question whether political interests are being influenced, whether the politicians are influencing what is going to be released. There might also be a loss of confidence in the Department of Justice, as well as the FBI. I personally have admiration for the FBI, but if they don't handle cases like this, the public trust in both departments might go down. And it could also for conspiracy theorists. People will, if there's no transparency and accountability in the process, people will begin to come up with different ideas, different stories, their own version, their own thinking, and that might confuse even the investigators themselves or even the public at large. Some conspiracy theorists can go for so long that it ends up becoming or sounding like the truth. And I'm sure that the public would not like to have such situation in this kind of high-profile case.
I mean, to what extent does the political pressure from influential groups or support groups such as MAGA supporters shape government disclosure practices?
Well, politicians and agencies, when it comes to high-profile cases like this, they often, they often feel that pressure, especially from powerful groups like the MAGA caucus, and leaders may feel the need to act or say something or make public statements just to kind of satisfy this strong base, even before official investigations are completed, and there's a risk in that as well, that different politicians saying different things, it might actually confuse the public, and the public pressure might force agencies to rush or kind of alter the kind of information they want to disclose to the public. They might just release the information they feel that the public will be able to accept. Because it can fuel, it can encourage what I'll call selective transparency, whereby they are releasing some things so that it won't cause public outrage, and while not disclosing certain information, and that's not good. Governments just releasing enough to calm political supporters down, I think it's not the best way. and that's how these strong groups can shape government disclosure practices.
I mean, just could appointing a special prosecutor or issuing executive actions as reportedly being, considered by this government effectively going to restore credibility in this type of case or similar cases that might arise?
Personally, I think it's a great idea. If it's done well, it might show a level of seriousness and independence of this enforcement agency. It might also give the public, the hope that justice is going to be served. However, it doesn't come without its own risk. If the public feel that it's politically motivated, then it's not going to restore their trust. And if the result of the investigation, for example, is taking a lot of time, it will frustrate the public. I think what's more important, or the most important thing, is that the process must be transparent. The process and findings, they need to be clear. They need to be transparent. They need to be open to the public in order to be able to rebuild the faith they have in the government.
Well, I must say thank you so much, Bolu Michael-Biyi. He's a foreign affairs analyst who joined us live to give us insight following MAGA's fallout with Donald Trump over the release of Jeffrey Epstein's files. Once again, many thanks. Still in the U.S., the president of the